So, my name is Nick Reinhart, and I'm gonna make some sounds for you. Maybe, I'm not even exactly sure what we're doing here. Maybe we'll do a little Q&A, some sound requests or something, but has anyone played the Avalanche Run? Raise your hand if you know what the Avalanche Run is. Okay, maybe half of you. So the Avalanche Run was their first DSP pedal, which is a delay and a reverb with tap tempo and all sorts of crazy expression settings and all this. And so there's a reverse delay on this, and one of the very first things I did was, okay, what would a reverse delay sound like if you just set the delay time to 0? So you may have heard us discuss this before, but anyone have any idea what would a reverse delay would sound like if you set the delay to basically 0 time? Right, a ring mod. So, you know, like, here's this amazing new reverby, like, tap tempo delay, and what does Nick do with it? He turns it into a ring mod. So check this out. So here's what, you know, your normal reverse delay would sound like. Right? You know, it's kind of going backwards. So then when you set the time to 0, basically what's happening is you're sending the reverse into itself very, very quickly, which is turning it in somehow, I don't know the science behind that, but it turns into a ring mod. So that was like, okay, interesting. And it retunes itself every time you kind of reset it. It does this funky thing where it'll tune it to a different note. Check it out. So that's kind of what I mean by like, whoa, fuck, this is crazy. That's a reverse delay that you can turn into a ring mod, and so you get really inspired just sitting down, again, either in a band context and you writing on, you know, working on riffs or writing new songs or whatever, or just being by yourself, you know, in your bedroom. So the Avalanche Run, that blew my mind. Let's see what else on here. The transmitter. Anyone familiar with the transmitter, which they put out maybe a year or two ago? Okay, so like modulated reverb, right, with kind of like a rate and a warp on it and stuff. Well, the transmitter was the first pedal I think that they included their new switching system on, which if you're a big time pedal dork, that was a big deal to you because they switched to this relay based switch stuff. So it doesn't click, it's silent clicking, right? And which kind of makes it easy to like bounce in and out of the pedal. So my first thought was, okay, whoa, if you can get really, really quick clicking on that, what would be something that you could do outside the, you know, the reverb box? So my thing that I came up with was sort of a, well, here, I'll show you. Let's see. Holds on to your signal, right? And actually I have the decay set to 0, so that's like a pretty gnarly. Let me turn up the decay. Let's see, so this thing will go for days, right? So that was another really interesting thing, like, whoa, I could actually create and compose, you know, music off of just one pedal and kind of thinking about it a little differently than, you know, just kind of jamming in a modulated reverb, like, you know. I think that's also rad, but again, for me, I'm always, whenever I kind of get my hands on something new, I'm trying to think like, what would someone not want to do with this pedal, and then maybe turning that into a cool thing. So I thought that was a really neat idea that they were incorporating that into their pedals, and I think they're in the process of redoing a lot of this stuff in their V2. It's called the V2 series, right? So they're replacing a lot of these switches with, you know, these new relay-based stuff, and that makes it really just easier to come in and out of sounds, which I like to do. And then, let's see, another thing that kind of blew my mind was the space spiral, which was last year, which was like kind of another kind of weird modulated delay. Like my repeats always set to 1. That's my vibe, by the way. Guy that I've done a lot of composing with that so far. So I'm just gonna play a little bit. I'll do a little improvised playing for you and just kind of like bounce around, trying to do some out ideas with these pedals that might, stoke you out or possibly bum you out. So let's see. There's a little weirdo. Okay, so that is often what happens at 1 a.m. in the garage, right? Where it's like, kind of pull a few of these guys off the shelf and kind of plug them in, rearrange, the signal path a little bit, and then you end up with stuff like that. And I was pretty happy with all of that, I have to say. I was like, okay, I have a few go-to things, but obviously, it all always kind of like gets jumbled and turns into weird things. So that's kind of my go-to thing with EarthQuaker, is like, whoa, there's so many neat things that come out of just these boxes, you know what I mean, and being able to do kind of weirdo stuff with them. And I'll just, maybe if I can remember what I did there, I could walk you through for a few minutes here. So the Hummingbird, which is their kind of very percussive tremolo, which is a sawtooth. My favorite thing to do with that is, well, I attempt to do with that, is actually play kind of avoid the gaps of the tremolo, right? So I'm playing to the tremolo and it kind of just rolls off the attack of each note, right? So it turns into a very kind of, maybe like a fake string sound kind of thing. So let's see if I could recreate that. So you're actually playing along to the tremolo as opposed to, which would, the Hummingbird sounds rad as just a nice. These new guys also have expression pedal options for the rate, which is really fun too. But again, the thing that kind of crossed my mind was like, oh, what would it sound like if you end up playing to this, match your playing to the rate of the pedal, and then you get that kind of weird offset attack sound. Let me see. Practicing to a tremolo, but like a fucked up weird tremolo, or a metronome. So that's really cool. That's a really fun thing to get into. And then you all know about the Rainbow Machine, right? You wouldn't be at this event if you hadn't heard of the Rainbow Machine. I've really been into using the Rainbow Machine as just like a straight kind of slapback delay, which was something I came across recently, which, the first thing we all want to do with the Rainbow Machine is just dime everything and get those crazy sounds. But if you back off the tracking a little bit and then adjust your secondary and primary volumes, you get kind of like a nice kind of weirdo slapback. Which I'd say for the first 3 years that I played that pedal, I had not come across that sound. So that was like a fun discovery to me. Obviously, always a go-to. And then the other thing that I kind of came across that I thought sounded really good, which I guess is sort of a standard thing, I really like using the Rainbow Machine to just totally widen gnarly ass like synth sounds. So what I like to do is tune the Rainbow Machine to just be a little bit off, so it's like a nice kind of lush chorus. I believe I took the bit commander. demo machine always is exciting to use in conjunction with lots of other pedals. I think, Juan, you're going to do some pedal combos for us a little later, right? Yeah, so Juan will lay it down with the real pedal combos. But that's the thing, I mean, you can get a lot out of just one EarthQuaker device's pedal, but you got to have at least two, and then you start getting all crazy with it. So, I mean, that's it. That's kind of my take on EarthQuaker stuff. Obviously, like I said, there is a lot of traditional classic sounds you can get out of this stuff, but I'm kind of into the weirdo thing. So thank you guys for paying attention and coming. I'm guessing all this stuff, I think you can play all of it on the other side of the building over there. Thank you. Have a fun, awesome EarthQuaker Day 2017.